What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, we're waiting for that Abyss of Dagath update in late October. And one of the things coming out in that Abyss of Dagath update in WARFRAME is going to be a pet rework. We don't have major details on it, but we do know that pets will basically be immortal now, and they'll be improving the functionality between the player and the pet, whatever that's supposed to mean. So today we'll be going over like 5 or 6 companions you should keep an eye out on for this pet rework. These companions have good abilities to an extent, but are being held back by survivability issues, which is one of the main things they're addressing in the Abyss of Dagath update. So that's what we'll be going over today. Just basically a little bit of fun, talking about companions that are almost good enough, but not good enough. If you enjoy these types of videos, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily WARFRAME YouTube video uploads, everything between build guides, weekly resets, speculation videos, discussion videos, etc., etc. Also, check out the live stream channel. I've been really sick lately, honestly, so I can hardly talk for more than like 20 minutes a day. So I'm trying to jam out these videos, and I just don't talk for the rest of the day. So hopefully I can stream tonight. If not, I hope I can stream tomorrow. It's just, I don't know what's happening. Every time I wake up, I have a sore throat, and it's been really rough. Either way, let's get into this list. So let's start with the number 5 companion. Now, these are not really in list of power, because the power is subjective of what kind of ability you would find useful at any time. You got the Pharaoh predasite, and I don't know if the mutagen and antigens matter for this, but we got the leptosome mutagen and the uranon antigen. That's the stuff I picked when Deimos came out. This is the Pharaoh predasite. Now, the predasites in general, these are basically, they were released alongside the Vulpaphilas. The Vulpaphilas were like infested foxes, cats, whatever you want to call them. These were infested dogs, and these infested dogs cannot come back from the dead. At least right now. Once the companion rework goes through, they should be able to come back from the dead just like a Vulpaphyla can, and so should everything else in the game. We won't be really discussing currently meta stuff, so Panzer Vulpaphyla, Smita Kavat, you should already know those are meta. So yeah, this is going to be a list involving non-currently meta ones, like the Pharaoh predasite. So, what the Pharaoh predasite provides to you, well, it actually has a couple unique abilities. Volatile Parasite can go on any predasite. There's 3 different predasites, including the Pharaoh predasite. What this one will do, will barf out a little gross maggot thing, and the gross maggot thing will jump on an enemy, then every enemy within 40 meters will attack them instead of you, and then the maggot thing will explode, causing a viral proc within 10 meters. So it's an aggro drawer, it's a AoE viral proc, it's technically viral damage, before under viral damage, it was just basically nothing. And yeah, that's what a predasite ability that every predasite can use. So it's not just for the Pharaoh predasite. The solely Pharaoh predasite abilities are Endoparasitic Vector, which is a lot of text, basically to say it gives like one enemy a bunch of viral procs, and Anabolic Pollination. This will make it where basically the dog will release a toxin cloud. If you stay in the toxin cloud, you will have a 100% toxin damage buff for 6 seconds. These are both pretty good, but I'm just going to show you the Volatile Parasite one, because this will work on any predasite. Additionally, since predasites are technically kubrows, they can use the Mecha Set bonus. This is extremely powerful, and once these things can come back from the dead infinitely, this might become something you'll see a lot more often. So the way this works, the companion, or rather the kubrow, will mark an enemy for 6 seconds. And now, by the way, the Mecha bonus goes up if you have Mecha bonus mods on your frame too. I don't currently have those on my frame, but it makes the cooldown of the ability a lot quicker. So there's a aura mod called Mecha Empowered, gives you extra damage against the marked target. And there's also Mecha Pulse, giving you extra armor when you kill the marked target, depending on how many enemies are in the area. Now that we fully maxed it out, the enemy will be marked for 12 seconds. That marked enemy will spread status effects to nearby enemies. But basically, just load them up with slash procs and watch it go crazy. So let's go ahead and show that right now. I have put on Companion Invincibility, and I've unpaused the enemies just to show a somewhat realistic situation. So we're looking for a mark above one of the enemy's heads that looks like a dog. Once we see that mark, that's the mark that's the enemy we should target. So right there, marked for dog. Hit him with all that Garuda stuff. And he has spread the slash proc to the area. So that is something you can expect to be a lot more prevalent once the companion rework goes through. And there is the gross predasite maggot. That will jump on an enemy and basically draw aggro off of you. And as you can also see with the Mecha Boss, I have 1200% increased armor, which is more than an armor mod, so quite nice. You're going to see the maggot just got blown up, it looks like. So the maggot ability is not really the best. They have a couple other abilities too. There's the maggot. Against like 20 level 190 steel path enemies, it's not going to be able to do much, but the mark for dog part is good. If you're more focused on like level 10,000 and stuff, you might want to go with the toxin buff, just because that's a little bit more reliable. And as you can see, status spread to everybody. It's pretty good. The problem is right now that the dog is not very survivable. You basically have it go down, and it dies in like 2 seconds. You have to revive it in 20 seconds, or you're screwed. So yeah, all the predasites are going to be similar. I think the Pharaoh predasite will be better though, just because I just think this ability right here, anabolic pollination, is pretty good. Endoparasitic vector is also pretty good, as it like can cause a lot of viral procs. But the volatile parasite, it works for every predasite. I just decided to show that one today. All right, that's number 5 on the list. Let's move on to number 4 on the list. We've got actually one that was used a lot back in the day. It's going to be the Adarza kavat. Now, this thing basically, so it was meta in a specific aspect of the game a while ago. This ability, Cat's Eye, which gives additive 60% crit chance to all weapons and allies within 25 meters every 20 seconds. This used to work on operator amps. This was the old Eidolon meta. We would use this on our amps, and we get like guaranteed orange crits, no amp arcanes required. It was quite nice, but DE realized that they didn't want that to be a thing anymore, and now it no longer works on operator amps. But this ability is still quite powerful, as 60% additive crit chance is a big chunk. It's more than Avenger provides, and of course you could stack this with Avenger for like 105% increased additive crit chance on any weapon. So that's quite nice, but the rest of this stuff has bad survivability. It's not a Smita. The problem is it's really just not a Smita. The Smita gives you can give you double loot and some other stuff, and this one's just going to be a more tame bonus, but is more reliable, as it will always be active. It's not a chance to proc. It's always going to proc. With Tech Enhance, increased kavat ability duration, we have almost permanent uptime on this. So let's go ahead and show how this works. All right, so we have invincibility turned on, obviously, as I stated, so the kavat's not going to instantly die. So we wait around, Cat's Eye is procced. Now we can use our abilities, and we can use our weapons, and have a bunch of extra crit chance. Not extremely exciting, but it is quite powerful if you are to, like, mod around this. The buff's about to run out. We should have to wait only a couple more seconds before it rebuffs us again. Due to Tech Enhance. Okay, so we're waiting about 5-6 seconds. And is the kavat going to do it? All the enemies are dead. At least there's that. Okay, so it's thinking about it. It's definitely not a permanent uptime. I do have the duration increasing mods on here, but yeah, that is going to work for your teammates too, so that can be good for maybe an endurance run if the kavat's not dying as much as it currently is. And the pet AI in this game is definitely not the best. And there you go. I didn't really do anything there, but at least the buff was active. So yeah, that'll be for your teammates too, so it could be a big DPS increase. And it's the other kavat that people don't use because the Smita is just better. Alright, moving on to number 3, we have the Sahasa kubrow. Now this one already is used by some players. The way this one works is basically it will dig stuff up for you. And depending on what you are lowest on, the AI of what the dog will dig up will determine what you need the most. So for example, if I was low on energy, it'd be very likely to give me energy. If I was low on ammo, it'd be likely to give me ammo and health and so on and so forth. This can work quite well, actually, especially if you have the Arcane Energize Arcane equipped in your frame. It will give you one orb. That can be a big chunk of energy, and you just move on to the next area. So these orbs should work for your teammates, too. So this can be an energy companion that is going to be hopefully doing some good damage, too. We've got Maul on here. We don't have Bite. But these kubrows can actually pump out some good damage with a DPS build. I've actually had a mecha... I used to have a mecha build here, too, for AoE nuking. So let's go ahead and show how the dig ability works. So I am low on energy right now. Let's see if the kubrow feels like doing anything. Okay, digging it up. And there you go. He gave me credits and he gave me energy. Now if I was running Arcane Energize, that would have been a good chance to give me an Energized proc, basically filling my entire energy pool. That's pretty much all this companion does. But it might seem like kind of boring and unexciting. It's a very, very useful ability. As long as you don't need what the Smita kavat is providing to you, or you don't want the Panzerwolf viral procs. This thing is going to be a nice little utility, as it will provide to your teammates too. So it's like a mini dispensary from Protea. It takes a little bit longer to drop give you the drops, but at least this thing can give you vacuum as well while it's following you around in the mission. That's quite nice. It gives you credits too, so if you're looking for a mini credit farm, there you go. Alright, so not much more to say on that one. It is already used sometimes, so making that thing immortal will be quite nice for your energy economy in the long run. Alright, moving on to the first Sentinel on this list. We're going to have a couple honorable mentions at the end, but I want to go over this Sentinel because, yeah, this thing it always felt flimsy to me and no longer will be flimsy. So, the Nautilus Sentinel, I think you should keep an eye out for this in the future, and the reason for that is the Cordon ability for the Nautilus. Nautilus will force enemies within 30 meters of the target into a cluster for easier targeting. 15-second cooldown. So when this thing becomes immortal, first off, the build will change because it'll be immortal. They'll be able to do this every 15 seconds. Think of like a mini ensnare every 15 seconds. So it's a very aggressive suction as well. It will pull them in really fast. So let's go ahead and show that. And just remember, this will be immortal in the future. Not to mention the Verglas weapon from the Nautilus is one of the best Sentinel weapons in the game. It's pretty much just a copy-paste normal Galaxian. Okay, so let's see if the UI, or rather the AI of the companion is going to actually work. There we go. See it, look at that. Oh my gosh. It pulled them all in extremely fast. Makes it a nice easy nuke for my Garuda Blood Orb, even though I have a massive, massive range build. So yeah, that can be like a mini ensnare. And if it's not if it's dying but coming back to life over and over again, I think that could be a good thing in the long run. Now, it didn't work that well right there. It's apparently a 30-meter pull-in radius. So let's actually pause these guys and take a quick look at this. Is that maggot still alive from earlier? I think it is. The maggot the maggot's going to help us out. Okay, so it seems like it targets a specific enemy, so it must have targeted like the front enemy. And then within 30 meters, it will pull enemies into that enemy. So there are some situations where it's not going to be as perfect as you were hoping, but as you can see, the Verglas is doing some good damage to the Steel Path Corrupted Bombard. And then we pull all the enemies in. Quite nice. It's kind of like Magus Anomaly, but no work required out of you. Looks like that sets up for a ground finisher, too. Very, very nice. Yeah, definitely look out for Nautilus in the future. I think that will be a very nice one. It's already nice, it's just I don't really use it very often because, you know, Smida and Panzer are better. Okay, so that's going to be the Sentinel. Now let's go over a couple more Sentinels here. We're not going to do like a deep dive on these, but like just to give a brief explanation of why they could be good. So let's start off with Shade Prime. So Shade Prime is actually one of the newest Prime Sentinels, and the ability of Shade that you might want to check out is going to be Ambush. When the Ghost ability is broken, Shade's owner is granted 240% weapon damage for 3 seconds. Only 3 seconds, but this will make you invisible. I have a better invisibility companion we'll show later, but basically, yeah, go invisible, and once you break invis, you'll get 240% increased weapon damage for 3 seconds. That can be kind of nice, I guess, if you are looking for a little bit more damage out of your loadout. Let's see if it works here. Make me go invis. Okay, it's supposed to make me invis. Maybe because she's paused, it's not working. But yeah, that's going to be a okay choice for certain players that think that's actually useful. To me, 3 seconds is too short. Moving on to the next Sentinel you can maybe consider. We've got how about the Carrier Prime? This is an oldie right here. The reason you'd use Carrier Prime in 2023 after the companion rework is probably going to be for ammo case, increases your ammo capacity by 25%. Also makes it where you have a built-in basically ammo converter. There's some other abilities as well for the Carrier. The Looter ability will destroy loot crates within 12 meters. We're power crept way past needing to use that. So I'd say you'd probably just use this for like nostalgia. Like if you need more ammo for some reason. Carrier is not really looking too hot, but at least Carrier's got a shotgun weapon. The Sweeper Prime. All right, enough goofing off with those. I don't think Helios is just going to be a scan bot. You still can't use this as a stat stick for your melee. They removed that from the game. So one of the companions I want to have you guys checking out is for Sentinels is the Wyrm Prime. The reason for that is going to be the ability Negate. Sentinel prevents status effects from applying to the owner once every 5 seconds. So as long as you're not taking 2 status effects every 5 seconds, you are status immune with this mod. Now I took out Prime Sure-Footed on my frame because I want to check if this worked on Brahma shots, and it seemed like it did work sometimes. Like I had to reset the simulacrum and then it worked, but then after I loaded it and reused the Wyrm, it didn't work. So let's actually relog the simulacrum, and we'll see if it does work on Brahma shots. If this does work on Brahma shots, that's great for players that don't have Prime Sure-Footed. If it doesn't work on Brahma shots, then at least it works on magnetic procs, slash procs, heat procs, etc., etc. The Wyrm doesn't really have the best abilities besides this. Alright, so let's see if it does work on Brahma. Doesn't look like it. The negate went off, and I took a mini stagger, but I did not get fully prevented on that stagger. So, kind of works a little bit, definitely not fully. And then there you go, a full knockback still. So it doesn't work on Brahma, but if you are going into a situation where there's going to be lots of magnetic procs on you for maybe those new Necromech enemies we're getting in Whispers in the Wall, this is something you can definitely consider. But I'm going to show you the ultimate companion now. The one that I use quite a bit. And actually, let's get some gameplay of this on the Steel Path. So, Shade Prime is nice and all. It gives you a damage buff after 3 seconds of being invisible. But how about if you are permanently invisible? How does that sound? The kubrow I'll be showing now is actually one I've put in plenty of videos. But this thing is a chonker, and it is a powerful chonker. We've got the Huras kubrow. Now, the Huras kubrow is a very, very special kubrow to me, as this is the biggest kubrow I own. Just kubrows have different sizes. Now, how this one works is the ability is going to be called Stalk, I believe. Now, once you go invisible, yep, it's called Stalk. It makes the user invisible to stalk the prey. They're within 24 meters. So once you're invisible with this, you can keep using abilities to kill enemies. You cannot, if the first time you attack with a weapon, you will break invis and go back into like being visible. This makes the dog invisible too. So if you want a perma invisible damage setup, you can go with like Huras kubrow Garuda, or how about Huras kubrow Gara? I've made videos on this in the past, of course, but this is a frame that can be perma invisible. Yes, as Gara. So let's go ahead and show how that works. So since Gara can kill enemies with abilities and no weapons needed, that will be the idea of this. Now, if you were to use Eclipse, you definitely want to be snapshotting in the light. But let's just go ahead and show you how this works. So it will work with Zaku, it will work with Gara, it will work, the list goes on, basically. So make me invisible. Come on, dog. So we're invisible. We cast Gara's 4. We blow up Gara's 1. We can keep just doing this over and over again. As long as we don't attack enemies with a weapon, it is just invisible DPS. And any weapon DPS frame will work on this. So that is going to be my #1 companion to check out for the rework, as you could just be invisible permanently. You can use that on Saren. Now, Saren does use weapons to spread spores, but you can use it on Ember. You could probably, you probably wouldn't want to use it on Frost, because Frost doesn't really kill enemies with abilities outright. So that's going to be my list, guys. Of course, almost every companion will be better, because they'll no longer be just dying instantly. So let me know what companions you guys are looking to try out some more after this companion rework. I tried out Death Cube Prime. I tried out some Moas. Moas will probably be pretty good, too, because they have some pretty powerful abilities. One of the things I don't think will be very good is Hounds, though. Hounds are going to need like an entire rework. Basically, where's my Hound? I don't even know where my Hound is. Because their abilities are very underwhelming. Like, some of these just like have base damage numbers that are terrible. I did a lot of work at making these Hounds good, and they just aren't good. So hopefully DE can save them. If not, oh well, we'll have at least some other companions who will be good in the meantime. So hopefully get some ability buffs and some survivability reworks. Either way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully stream tonight. If not, I'm sorry. And I'll see you tomorrow on stream. All right, guys, take it easy. Peace.